Hey, what's up, guys? Raybar checking in with another video. As you see here, the portfolio is sitting at about $12,100. Got my normal $241 in cash. Opened up a covered call on my position in SoFi and a cash secured put in Plug Power. Made about, I think $60 in premium here. In my main portfolio over at Merrill Lynch, traded options this morning. Made about $453 and some change after fees and whatnot, as in the bigger brokerages, you're paying kind of options contract fees. My NEO option here is right at cost. I'm going to let this go for a little bit longer, hoping to maybe cash out like 15, 20 bucks in it, maybe over the next week, as I still have about 2 weeks before these contracts expire. You're seeing here on my cash account, got 4.9% with Robinhood Gold. I need to cancel that by September 22nd before I get charged the $5 fee. I just took advantage of the 1 month for free that they're offering. Bitcoin's taking a dive. Not too much going on there. As you see, stocks are trading relatively, I guess, flat overall if you look at the grand scheme. As like that dotted line here on each position is, kind of the break even, where it was this morning. What we're seeing here in the news right now is obviously, you're seeing the UAW strike, specifically the auto workers working for Ford, General Motors, and the parent company for the brand that makes Dodge, Chrysler, and Ram. Overall, with kind of inflation and where things are going, it's to be expected that these things are going to happen. You saw that, these companies were kind of going down, obviously, because they're like, okay, these workers are going to go on strike, productivity is going to go down, meaning profits going to go down if they can't make vehicles, etc. So it's kind of to be expected, right? Like, with today's current environment, and you're seeing how kind of expensive everything is, how much things are costing, etc. It's not kind of uncommon to see these things happen. So we just saw it happen with UPS, and UPS and FedEx. They are huge in supply chain infrastructure, shipping, and that's kind of a indicator to the economy, how things are going, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw more union workers start to go on strike to demand higher wages, especially as we kind of go into inflation increasing again. I think it was only 5 basis points or 50 basis points from last month, but driven mainly by fuel costs heading out of the summer. But those things matter, right? We're starting to get plagued with, consumer spending stopping, as well as student loans firing back up potentially. And that's going to be a drag on the economy. And so maybe we don't avoid that recession that the Fed has been talking about, excuse me, about wanting to have that lower, softer landing, et cetera, right? I think the Fed decision for a rate hike is going to be next week. It's looking like right now, based off of, the talking heads in Wall Street, that the Fed is likely going to hold and not raise rates. But they're not going to shut the door on potential hikes going into the future, depending on, different market things that are going on and, other indicators that they're playing, right? With that said, obviously, we can see, volatility in stocks right now. Things are kind of going crazy. And I think, that's good for options traders if you want to make some good premiums, because with volatility comes premiums that will be paid. But in the terms of long positions, you sometimes got to just wait out the storm. And that's why, again, I preach dollar cost averaging into the stocks that you want, that you see into the future. And again, I'm a huge index fund buyer, because if it's the slow, kind of boring way to do it, but if you look at it in the long run, I'm not going to end up probably beating the S&P 500, but everyone has different strategies, right? Income strategies, growth strategies, strategies that you can use for your options plays to make additional income. The thing about it, and the beauty about it, is that's why it's called personal finance. You can tailor the way that you invest or save in however manner that you want to do it, while picking up tools along the way from other individuals. Here in the last month, I'm only up about 2%. Last week, quarter percent, I guess. And then here, we're kind of basically flat, right? Not doing too much. There is another stock, Instacart. They're about to IPO. See here, about $28 to $30. If you're thinking about getting into initial public offerings, is what IPO stands for, be a little bit wary, right? Because oftentimes whenever that happens, there's excitement, buzz, everything's around it. People jump off into it, put a lot of money into it, driving the stock price higher, kind of separating itself from reality, right? Once that happens, you have the people that are in it for the quick profit. They're going to turn around, get out of the stock. And then after the red tape and all the rules pass by, the initial investors start to cash out their money to kind of realize some of those initial gains that they put in before going public, right? And they can't sell immediately for, restriction reasons, etc. But typically you'll see it for the first 2 to 3, 4, 5 months. It's kind of trading wildly as the new people are speculating. Then around 6-month mark, you're going to see a massive dip from those original insiders selling out, and then is a good time to kind of get in. And it shows itself time and time again, right? Whenever the Bitcoin craze and the crypto craze or Coinbase, was going crazy. I mean, if you look at it, right, like here, look at that initial public offering, shot to the sky, April 16, May, a lot of people are kind of cashing out. Then it starts to trade a little bit wildly. Oh my gosh, it's going to go up. Everyone booms again. About 6-month mark, all the people start to sell off. The original investors start getting out. And then now here we are kind of trading where it should be, right? Trading flat, et cetera, et cetera. And obviously in this time frame, we have record high inflation. We got a lot of stuff going on. But this is kind of the typical chart of like an IPO. That's just one example. Rivian Automotive, look at that. Or let's look at this. See, it's kind of the same thing, right? Initial public offering, it booms, kind of spikes, but we've been in a steady decline ever since, right? And so time and time again, you kind of see these things. One of the ones that I got into pretty early was Kenvue. A little bit different since this was a spin-off, but if you look at the chart, it speaks to the same thing, right? Spike up initially when people were excited, and then it's going to kind of plummet, right? This one here too, I think, again, you guys know if you've been watching the channel, I'm long Kenvue. I have a decent amount of shares in my public portfolio and my private portfolio. Into the future, this one's great. I think one of the bad things about this one right now is they're also getting dragged into the lawsuits that Johnson & Johnson was being plagued with, which used to be, own all the brands and the supplies that Kenvue is now doing. But anyways, I wanted to kind of go off on that track about, if you're looking at the Instacart IPO or any other IPO, just be cautious, because what I've seen over my last, near decade of experience in the investment world is that usually if you're going to get in, try and get out pretty shortly thereafter because the hype usually goes crazy. They sell off. It's going to trade for a little while. Then the insiders are ultimately going to get out. You'll see the stock plummet, and then it kind of flatlines and stays in that range. I think that range period, about the 9 to 12 month period of the stock being public, is a great time to get in if you're a long-term investor and you believe that company has potential. Because all the quick money folks are going to be flushed out. All the original investors will have sold their positions if they're wanting to get out, or at least the ones big enough to make the stock crash. Either way, guys, please tune in next week or even this week. I still kind of haven't got a full schedule locked in. I was trying to do Fridays as well, but, life happens and I wasn't able to get to it. But I'm still posting my shorts every day, everything else. If you're still here in this part of the video, comment strike, because that's what we're seeing a lot right now. Anyways, hope you guys have a wonderful Monday, a wonderful week. See you guys on Friday.